Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Dead Cells, and this is kind of like, I wouldn't say a trial run or anything like that, but I recognize that this probably sounds insufferable. Like, dude gets his ass kicked in this game, like, 25 times in a row, and then wins 4 out of 5 and goes like, I don't know, maybe it's just like a little bit too easy. But I think we are probably, starting to approach the point where, like, if we just win, and we're able to win in a very similar way than the way that we did on the last few episodes, we might be taking a break from Dead Cells, until it gets a little bit more content. Certainly not me saying this is a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. Quite the opposite, it's a great game, but it might need a little bit more content to start, you know, keeping me engaged, because I've just become so good at the game. No, it's like... It's just that it's become a little, without a balance patch, it's become like a little bit, I don't want to say predictable. The word I would use is like, solved. There's an optimal strategy that seems to work like almost every single time. But again, we do have a pretty small sample size, and it's a testament to the actual combat quality of the game that I'm playing it and still enjoying it for sure. Cloud of poisonous gas. Damage taken reduced by 30%. I don't know, I mean, I don't want to save money, necessarily. But we don't have the synergies to make that stuff pop yet. It's a little bit dicey, to be honest with you. But we get cluster bombs, which are spammable. And they do apply flammable oil. I think what we should do, because it doesn't matter right now, because we're cursed. What I mean to say is that our damage taken doesn't matter right now. If we take one hit from anything, we'll die. So I think we might as well take a damage boost. And essentially just take it very slow here. Again, I don't want this to sound... To be honest with you, I'd much rather put on a facade and be like, oh, Dead Cells is so hard, I can't believe I've managed to make it through the past few episodes, but it strikes me as, like, a little dishonest at the present moment. Not to be, like, exceptionally rude. Because we're making some content changes, you know? We're moving to one Isaac a day. We're playing RimWorld again in those Twitch VODs. We got, you know, potentially Kerbal Space Program coming around here. Like, there's a lot of, like, uncertainty in my content right now. I'd much rather have something like Dead Cells that I could, like, you know, hang my hat on and be like, at least Dead Cells is sticking around, but... We managed to find, like, the optimal strategy at exactly the right/wrong time. But it's a good thing, you know? And again, it's a testament to the actual quality of the, It's not that good. It's a testament to the quality of, the actual core gameplay loop in the game, the combat, that it's still fun to play. In spite of the fact that I think, we've come to a fairly optimal solution. I mean solution in the mathematical sense, you know? We found the two... X-intercepts, or Y-intercepts for a parabolic function. Look, I haven't been in grade 10 math in a little while, alright? I still do linear algebra on a regular basis, but I don't do too much, there's like, r/I am very smart. I still do linear algebra on a regular basis, but I don't deal with parabolic functions that much. They're just so inefficient. Okay, well, actually... This is our exit, so I'm gonna fail at this jump a couple of times. And then we're gonna go back here, and I'm going to grab the special pendant. I don't know how I would change the balance, by the way. I mean, damage taken reduced by 30 is pretty great, I think. The other way just basically has to be the sewers. I don't know how I would balance it, because I really... I don't think that the skill build needs a nerf, and I say that for a couple of reasons. One is, spamming left trigger, right trigger, and watching enemies melt is really fun, and it usually does require a cost to be paid to get there. You know, we're making our life harder for ourselves by always going on the most difficult possible path here to get the maximum amount of loot. Ludo! I don't know, we're close to sandals, so let's get sandals. And beyond that, you know, if they're adding more content, which they are, I'm sure, if they're adding another couple of floors, or, you know, this is maybe the halfway point of the game when you get to the wharf, then it doesn't matter as much, because things might get more difficult later and necessitate the Oh, you can jump up here. And not to mention, it took me, you know, 25 failed runs to win in the first place. More than 25 failed runs, to be honest with you. So, it'd be a little rich to suggest, like, oh, the game is so easy, it needs a change. But there is sort of like an element of that. I think, at least. If I'm just being honest. We have a pretty bad build right now, and I'm not talking about my pear-shaped nature in real life as a result of spending, you know, 16 hours a day sitting down. We have no special weapons whatsoever. And we actually kind of, I would say, got a little unlucky with our scrolls on the last floor, so we have a very balanced build. I mean, we chose to take HP. Time has proven, I think, that was probably the right choice. If we had taken skills or strength, we'd be at 1 HP right now, which is a little scarier to be at this level on 1 HP, but we're looking for more scrolls without a doubt to help us, you know, pop off into the 21st century. We also could use new weapons, because these are just vanilla weapons right now. Extra damage on a crit and Swarm of Biters comes out. Obviously, that's going to be a better choice for us. The other reason that I hesitate to come up with balance changes myself is that game design is a hard job. And I don't mean that, you know, oh, game design, that's cute. I'll go down to the coal mines 12 hours a day and get the black lungs so you guys, you know, have fuel for your tractor trailers and stuff. No, I don't mean it's a hard job, like, from a physical standpoint necessarily, because I honestly don't know. Dude, the range is crushing me. There we go. What I mean, rather, is, you know, it's a job that people always think they know how to do because they've played video games before, and I don't think that's the case, you know? You think these devs haven't played their own video game? Of course they have. Are you crazy? I just walked over here. So for me to just suggest, like, oh, the right thing to do is this, I don't think that helps anybody at all. The oil grenade is actually tempting. I've come to respect this item at least a little bit. We need to get something to enable more fire synergy, because we actually have, like, double oil synergy right now, which is meaningless. Like, being able to apply oil 2 times means effectively absolutely nothing. I'm being straight up with you. For a while, it was like, oh, Cannonball Man's so hard. Oh, you know, Axe Throwing Man's real annoying. These little, like, phalanx dudes are actually, without a doubt, the most annoying enemy in this freaking game. They attack so fast, some weapons have, like, huge problems actually hitting them. Extremely annoying. Look, I'm no big fan of that guy, who actually just, like, stun-locked me there. Okay, I'm losing my mind, apparently. It's like the Frantic Sword does not attack as fast as it used to or something. I mean, obviously that sounds ridiculous, but you gotta, maybe, if not take my word for it, at least respect that, you know, I've been playing this game a lot. Okay, burning, extra damage on a burning target, and they pierce, so I'm gonna take this, and then we're gonna look for something, primarily a secondary or a primary that applies fire. Even just being able to pierce one target is pretty good, but definitely I'm interested in what happens here. Help. I'm interested in what happens here if we get fire synergy and what appears to actually be like a 9 out of 10 quality turret. Because this has the synergies I like. I can't believe we didn't get hit there. It has the fire synergy that I like so much, plus shots pierce the first target. So if we could just get that and then a secondary that's like biters crawl from your unit, or biters crawl from your unit, now that's it's like Jersey Shore Doctor. Sorry, bro. You got a swarm of biters crawling from your unit. No, bro. You can still say bro. You probably still say bro. I don't know. That was pretty bad. It always struck me that, well, not always, but in hindsight, I guess it has struck me that dude has become completely acceptable. Like, I'm a man who's almost in his 30s. And when I say, or when I see people in public, I go, oh, dude, what's up? You know? That previous, like, surfer parlance has completely made it into, at least in Canada, popular vernacular. Whereas bro is like, what's wrong with you? I don't know, it could be different in different parts of the world, but someone says bro here, I'm like, what are you trying to pull, bro? It's like you got an ulterior brotive. You know How I Met Your Mother isn't on the air anymore. Oh, bro. We need scrolls, dude. I know we're gonna get them. But we need them. Is there a chain? There's a chain. I see a fire grenade. So, I mean, it's not bad. The problem with the fire grenade is that it's awesome, but then we don't have oil. So, I guess we can roll fire grenade turret, and that will actually probably be completely fine. Oh, knives, extra damage on burning. Oh, it's so tempting, because this is like exactly the same setup we had last time. It's not a great synergy for taking out a shielded unit, admittedly. God, the attack animation on them is so fast. Oh, Death Orb. Not extra damage on a burning target, so it's hard to justify right now. But I mean, I don't just want to go, you know, Knife Storm, Fire Grenade, because I believe, no, we ran Death Orb, Knife Storm last time, and it was, if I might remind you, actually freaking awesome. Like, there were some times on that last run where it seemed like we had almost no chance of winning. What do we get here? Torch. It's a new item. Well, new to me, at least. But I don't know. The fact that we can light enemies on fire and then have the first shot from the turret always pierce seems very good to me. The thing with Knife Storm, though, Knife Storm is like the most misunderstood item in this game, at least in my layman's perspective right now. Like, I've had a lot of people, well, I've had a few people tell me. I've had a lot of people tell me conflicting things about this game, which is, in my opinion, is usually a sign of good design. It means that, you know, there's many different ways to, you know, make a stew here. 2 blueprints? Maybe there's been an updated patch to the game, actually. I'm not sure. We gotta be getting semi-close to the end of this floor. I'm stunned we've come across no scrolls, but life goes on. We'll figure it out. I'm not worried about our HP. We'll figure that out as well, I think. But people have told me well, a couple people have told me Knife Storm's garbage. And I have to very much disagree. I think if you get synergies with it, it's more likely to be impressive, but not all bleeds are created equal, and the bleed from Knife Storm is like ridiculously powerful relative to the bleed from like a blood sword or a throwing dagger. I don't think the game necessarily does a fantastic job of illustrating that like not all bleeds are created equal. And the higher level the Knife Storm, the more damage per second each bleed does. Okay, so there's our Ramparts exit. That's a nice thing for us to find because it's like a get-out-of-jail-free card. If we run out of heals and we're very nervous about how our life looks, that's how we escape, basically. What's up? This is like a decrepit treasure chest. Oh, there's just something in front of it. Okay. It's a spiteful sword. I mean, it does extra damage on a bleeding target. So, or sorry, on a burning target. So I think we gotta take it. It fits with our burning synergy, which is how we do every single run, apparently. Enemies burn when they die. You know, if we get something that's not plus X% damage against burning, it's gonna take a really, really impressive piece of equipment to keep me interested, to be honest with you. This is usually prison depths. Probably not much exploration left, but now you can start to see why I wasn't all that nervous about how our HP looked, because... not even close, yeah. 9 minutes ago. Not all that nervous about how our HP looks, because the floor just couldn't go on that much longer. So, we got level 3 HP, which means we're going to take skills here. The skill build seems fine. Bow and infinite arrows, that gives us strength. Yeah, we'll take this over infantry bow 1. It's an extra level of stats, and we will be using our sword to hit enemies that are on fire, especially if they're locked down. I don't think it's a 10 out of 10, but bow and infinite arrows is also really nice from a spamming standpoint, honestly. Like, for bosses, we don't have to worry about getting our ammo back, which is a huge positive in my world. It feels like that should not do as much damage as it did. I'm not complaining. Why does that do so much damage? I guess it does give us +1 strength, but... Dude, did you see? We used shoots an arrow behind you, like, effectively there. I mean, the oiled sword... It's kind of tempting, honestly. Because it applies oil, but I think I need like a crash course on why I would care about using the oiled sword. Because like, I don't want to apply... Basically, I don't want to apply oil when an enemy's on fire. Because at this point, we're doing so much damage with our fire that the enemies will be dead by the time I hit them. Why would I ever like go over there and risk taking damage to hit them when I could just destroy them from afar? And then the secondary thing is... I mean, obviously we'll take a chance here. Flamethrower turret? Only works for 2 seconds. It's so much lamer in concept, but let's try a torch instead. It's torch level 4. Enemies burn when they die. Oh, no kidding. I mean, I'll give it a shot is the thing. Even though I think the bow with infinite arrows is better. But yeah, I need like a crash course on oil. Oil grenade makes sense. It has a cost. It doesn't do much damage, but it takes up a valuable skill slot. But it has a benefit. You know, it applies oil before an enemy starts to burn, which means they're going to burn for more damage. I imagine that... Really? I've made a horrible mistake here. You have to get right next to the enemy to hit them with a torch. I mean, it applies 2 stacks of burning, but I don't buy it. I don't buy this as being a useful item. At least with our present build. Maybe with the right sort of strength build, you can get something going here, but I don't support this at the present moment. That being said, we are, like, completely fine. All we need to do is find a secondary that replaces this. Good dodge there. I would say that probably, in my limited experience, which of course is me being a super expert at this video game that I totally do not suck at, looks like they've reworked the positioning of these as well. Dude, I'm just gonna be honest with you. We spent $6 grand on that, so that's a bit of a bummer, but... let's try to roll not a respawn build. Not because I want to nerf myself, but because I actually truly believe in my heart of hearts that a flat 30% damage reduction might be better than endlessly taking exactly the same pendant every single time. I think that 30% damage off is potentially a lot nicer in the long term, but I could be mistaken. I don't understand the value proposition behind the torch at all. We're very lucky, by the way, that despite taking a much worse secondary, in my opinion, like really, at the present moment, god-awful secondary, in spite of this, the run is still... Wow, that was awful. The run is so strong. That I basically don't have to worry about it at all. I would really prefer not to use my next level of healing right now. Or my next, potion. We gotta pace ourselves, and again, like, I don't know how many times I've said this, probably 4 is the answer, because I almost never came down to the prison depths before this moment, or before recently. However, the prison depths tend to be probably the hardest floor relative to how strong you are when you face them. I do see a health scroll. We're a little under-leveled, if I'm being 100% honest about my opinions on this one. Could accuse me of saying that we're always under-leveled, but there have been times where I've been like, this is ridiculous. Like, we've had, like, 8-5-8 or something. Not by this time in the game, but by the time we fought the Watcher, and that was like... Actually, I think we had 10 HP 2 times ago, so... That's like, that's no joke. I'm gonna try this, although I really can't afford to be entering a room in which I have a large chance to take damage. At least at the present moment. Thank God the cooldowns are a little lower. Alright, I think we've made it through... I don't know if I'd say the hardest parts. But we've made it through some semi-difficult sections. We still got a minute and a bit left. Our exit... This is why, like, I think challenge rooms kind of need a rebalance as well. Because, like... Who cares about getting cells, dude? The water is like... I'm pretty sure specifically designed to counter the exact strat that I have going on right now. It's not all about UNL. I think we gotta go a little bit faster, so save your turret for... No! What? I mean, it's so much my own fault, but I basically drew aggro with the turret like an idiot. Yeah, good throw, good throw. The optional elite enemies are, like, actually still pretty tough. I don't know if that's just me being silly. Cluster bombs that deal more damage on a burning target. Dude, you got me. You got me thinking, because they are cluster bomb level 7, and... Hello. I do tend to prefer burst damage to the turrets. These guys are so freaking tanky. Oh, look at the... I forgot we have actual life gain. Yeah, honestly, I think that's indicative of the fact that we got the proper build right now. Well, hopefully there's a teleporter up here. Sure, you know what? I guess if financially we're completely in a good spot regardless. As much as it pains me to admit, because I've been beating the exact opposite of this drum, it is sensible, unfortunately, to trade a lot of money for a relatively small amount of cells. So, like, definitely still interested in replacing our secondary, but not really at all worried about our skill build, which actually seems completely excellent right now. I mean, anytime you find yourself in this position where you just press left trigger, right trigger, and you kill all the enemies, you're usually in a good spot. Oh, dude, I didn't even see you there. So we have a broadsword. One of my favorite weapon types. Why not? +1 strength, 30% extra damage on a bleeding target. That's actually something, I mean, I would consider it a pretty close call. The extra strength is nice, and I do think that if we're not going to be using our weapons, having them give us a stat bonus is nice. But when they give us a stat bonus against, or when they give us, just so bad, so terrible there. When they give us a stat bonus related to using our weapon, I just don't, I don't see the draw, I suppose. No, shouldn't have done that. And we do have the burning synergy. The burning synergy I can't believe he's still alive. The burning synergy basically doubles our damage. So it's hard for me to say no to it. You know what? Just heal up. We still got 1 heal left. We do have some lifesteal with this weapon. We'll start taking a lot less damage if we switch off this weapon, which might be something worth considering. So that applies flammable oil, but I still find a hard time going for control over, the alternative here. Love you too. The alternative, of course, just being like really high burst damage, which predominantly works out extremely well for us. If we're gonna go control, like, the one that seems to be the best, not that good, is Frost Blast. And we so frequently seem to get, like, Frost Blast. That was pretty terrible. We so frequently seem to get Frost Blast plus 4 times longer, slowdown. Probably don't need to guess how I feel about that. We've really, like, come into the money when it comes to scrolls on this floor. Took us a while to get there, but now that it's happening, I'm very happy. Dude, I can't get hit by those guys anymore. I'm gonna start to, like, I'm gonna lose all of my confidence if I get hit by those guys one more time. But I'm gonna be, I mean, I'm always, like, 100% honest with you, but, like, this is a run that just like last run, to me it seems like it would be pretty tough for us to lose. You know, I was talking about the fact that we hit like 858 or something previously, and we felt like that was out of control. This run is actually completely able to get to that same high. Like, we're already going to be at 6 levels of skills, and admittedly, probably HP is the first thing to prioritize, just because it makes us more resilient to, like, getting bursted down in 1 or 2 hits, but it's usually our exit there. We've got, the kind of loving that could be so smooth. Give me your heart, make it real, or let's forget about it. I could definitely be persuaded to take a death orb. We're done with this floor. Dude, anytime you... I mean, we did get down to 1 HP. It's something they added to make the game a little bit easier. And I don't think it's had the opposite effect of making it too easy. Because I really think that kind of giving you that last life mechanic, Borderlands style, is a very positive thing. So you at least get some feedback before you die. Whereas previously, oftentimes you just got like 2-tapped. And then you died. Sometimes even 1-tapped. And you're like, oh, that's really fun. Okay. But I am the beneficiary of the game being easier now, I'll admit. I'm not gonna take the flamethrower turret. Plenty of opportunity for us to get it in the future. I'm happy we got 2 new things unlocked, although straight up the torch is just not very good. I'm still kind of, you know, rolling it around in my head. Maybe we should have gone with the broadsword, but it should be fine either way. Like, that's the moneymaker right there. Okay, I mean, we've broken the sound on this guy somehow. We only have 2 levels of strength, which is god-awful. But it actually matters 0%. The cluster bombs do so much damage. And he's already on, I think this should be his final invincibility. Oh, please, Dad, just one more invincibility. That's a joke I stole from Mystery Science Theater 3000. Final Sacrifice, Roused Hour episode, one of the all-time greats in the canon, without a doubt. So, super easy incomplete one fight. Let's go. And some value in a knife swarm there. You might be thinking, NL, you must be getting bored of dead cells. It's actually like, I'm still in this honeymoon period where I'm like, I win! This is great! I feel good. You know, if you like Flint Hook, you're probably like, please stop insulting it. And I understand why you would feel that way, but like by the end of my time with Flint Hook, I really was like, oh, I gotta record another Flint Hook episode today. It's gonna be 90 minutes, I'll die on the final boss. I still enjoy Dead Cells on like a moment-to-moment level. I am cognizant of the fact... Yeah, I think we now get rid of the torch for this. I'm cognizant of the fact that if we just keep winning every single run, or like 90% of runs, which even that is probably like a little bit braggadocious of me to suggest, but we might, forgive the turn of speech here, we might kill the golden goose. By which I mean to say, you might start to find it boring to watch because there's no longer any danger. So I'm trying to toe that line without a doubt. Let's try to get as much life back as possible. Yeah, okay, you've botched that miserably. Take a heal. You're trying to get a little too cocky with this bow, which is needless because really, right trigger, left trigger will do everything you've ever needed a combination to do in your entire life. If you can sneak in an extra shot now and then, go for it. Because it will give you a heal, and that could add up. But if it puts you at any risk of taking damage, you would have to be an idiot to do it. Because really, like, my own hubris is one of the only things that could stop us in the early game here. Well, relative early game, I suppose. Can't get up that way. Too high to get over, too low to get under. He was right. Stuck in the middle, where the men chunder. See, that's at runtime remix of Down Under by Men at Work, plus Wanna Be Starting Something by the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. Again, this is where I start to go, you know, it's sacrilege to call for a to call for a nerf, because everyone always, they love the nerf. People love to feel powerful, you know? So I feel you. It's a great feeling to just be kicking the crap out of the game here. But I do think that, you know, maybe plus 100% damage on a target afflicted by X should be changed to like plus 50% damage on a target afflicted with X. Because as of right now, it's just like, it's so strong. Literally, like, here's where I guess, I wouldn't say have a problem. Here's where I get confused about the game's balance. You come across weapons that are like, hey, you take 1.5 times as much damage, or sorry, you do 2 times more damage, but you also take 2 times more damage. And you're like, wow, that's a big cost. I'm not sure how I feel about that. But then, you basically come across weapons on the regular that have 200% damage without that penalty, as long as you can enable their status effect. And at least as of right now, it's like extremely easy to enable status effects, because there's only like 4 of them in the game, and almost every skill or weapon inflicts one of them. So all you gotta do is wait for the right permutation, and the right permutation is burning, not flying. So yeah, although we have been hit a few times, I think we, and we have come close to death, somewhat surprisingly. We're so far beyond fine. Like, if we just make it to the Watcher, right trigger, left trigger spam is gonna carry us to greatness here. And we actually have, like, exactly the Watcher build that we've had a lot recently, which is basically a frost-based weapon. That gives slowdown, which makes it a lot easier to hit the boss. Stop that. Combined with like some super high burst damage, skill spam, basically. You know we're gonna get scrolls, I was gonna say. So that's level 6. We would like to get to level 7, so we're only 1 away and we've got a whole floor left. I'm a little surprised that we haven't gotten a little bit more on the scroll department. I mean, we have 14 stat right now. You start with 3, so we've had 11 stat upgrades. It's not that much. Considering the phase that we're at in the game anyway. But we don't need to level up our strength much. Level 2 strength is actually horrible. Routinely, we'll be at this by the time we get to, like, the 2nd floor. But if we're never using our sword, that's fine. So what we should really do is, I guess, if we're never gonna use our sword, because it's so understated right now, we should probably, excuse me, sir, just go for anything that gives us a stat. That was bad. Anything that gives us a stat increase on our sword is going to be like 10 out of 10. Not a stat increase on our sword. Anything on a primary weapon that gives us a statistical increase to basically any category is going to be preferable. Is what I, you know, make it as unambiguous as possible. Got a lot of food on this floor, which is like unbelievably useful. More scrolls, please. I thought that was an elite shopkeeper for a second. And the fact that we're absolutely dream crushing this elite enemy is why I am like literally 0% nervous about the boss fight. I might be persuaded, and it would be a bad idea, but I might be persuaded to take the flame turret over the fire grenade if we could get it to deal more damage on a target that's already burning. Because the cluster bombs are awesome burst damage. And I don't know, if the flame turret is like a flamethrower, which I assume that it is, it should apply fire in an area of effect. If it's more like I shoot a bullet that lights an enemy on fire, that might be a little slower when it comes to applying fire to as many enemies as I'd like to apply it to, but Toxic Cloud. Another level up. We got a strength level up. I think you take health on the custom one, and strength is just nice to have at this point. So I'd say we have enough HP. Would like 2 levels of skills if possible, but I think we have enough HP to say that we could kill the Watcher. And again, like kind of it looked like a dicey fjord for us, but it wasn't really. We only used one of our heals. We got certainly more meat than you would normally expect to get. So what? You know, here we are. I'm doing everything I can. Holding on to what I have. Telling I'm a good man. I know the lyrics about Superman. I'm trying to avoid getting sued by WB. I mean, I'm pro Knife Swarm, which is actually Knife Storm. I actually do not care about the sandals at all. I wonder how much of an unexpected impact these persistent upgrades have had for me. Because I keep thinking like, oh, maybe I've just gotten really good. But maybe I've actually farmed up enough cells, not souls, cells. I guess, dude, okay, so remind me, if we get a triple jump, I'm sure there's a secret up there. So we actually have no reason, really, to fight those zombies that release birds, but I'm still probably gonna do it out of habit. And it hasn't really burned us recently. I mean, extra damage, speaking of which, extra damage on a burning target, but I don't know. I think we already have so much damage from our skills that we don't need, like, I mean, we actually 0% need, anything but control on our secondary. Like, no enemy stands up to our left trigger, right trigger spam, so I don't see a desire, really. I don't see a purpose. Most enemies will not even stand up to right trigger, even before you put that next one on there. There we go. Handling it a little bit better now. So this floor is all about survival. I mean, in a broad sense, I guess every floor is kind of all about survival, but like, this is just an experiment, basically. In a broad sense, every floor is all about survival, but I think if we live through this floor, we will probably beat the Watcher yet again. And that's almost like the kiss of death. Don't expect, because again, there's a lot of content in flux right now. Just because I'm saying, like, maybe Dead Cells is on the way out. Don't expect that, like, tomorrow there will be no Dead Cells. But probably we'll start looking for something to take this slot, at least until early access progresses a little bit, because we've reached a point in which it's too gameable. And if NL is saying your roguelite's a little too easy, might be time to reevaluate things. But I recognize it's always hard as a game developer to make a game hard, or harder, I should say, in a way that doesn't feel unfair. You know, just ask the Darkest Dungeon developers. That sounds like it's meant as like a smarmy quip, but it's really not, you know? It's hard, it's always easy to buff things, because everybody, if you've got the choice of two bad outcomes, one is I win too much, one is I lose too much, players, and myself included, tend to prefer winning too much. Especially on YouTube, because when you lose too much, people go, oh, this guy's an idiot, how did he ever, you know, blah, blah, blah. But when you lose, when you win too much, people go, hey, the game's easy. When you lose too much, people go, how does this guy, you know, put on his shoes in the morning without, you know, using a Brady Game strategy guide? So definitely, I appreciate the fact that it seems gameable now. And yet also find myself desirous of a little bit more of a challenge. I don't know if desirous is a real word. Oh, you don't see that trap too much these days. It's annoying as heck. Okay. Again, pretty much in financial equilibrium. 50% extra damage on a poisoned target. Secondary is fine, honestly. It is the primary I'd like to change. I mean, we're using Spiteful Sword 5, which is not bad. But I would love something that's just like, hey, +1 HP or +1 skills. Like, how do you make it harder without seeming unfair? That's a question I'll leave up to smarter people with more experience. And maybe it doesn't even need to be harder. Maybe it's meant to be, you know, a 30-hour experience instead of a 3,000-hour experience. But I don't know. I'll default to the design document for that, I suppose. I actually thought for sure he got me. I don't know if it's quite as strong as our Death Orb run, but I think it's close. In terms of, like, number of heals used, we've used, like, almost none. Thanks for the full heal. I don't want to sound too cocky, but, like, that was a really good opportunity for us to completely get safe as far as HP goes. No. Okay. This is not how you balance it. Is put yourself in a position where if you take one hit, you die. If Cursed Chests guaranteed, like, extremely high caliber loot, maybe, just maybe, I'd find myself interested. You know what? I chose not to kill that zombie at the top, because why would I? He's just gonna erupt in some birds. Annoy the crap out of me when he dies. Just, like, freeze him and move on instead. If he's surrounded by other enemies that we would like to kill for loot, then absolutely. But the birds don't give you any loot. They're like a value add. Please don't burn to death. Now we can't avoid it. Well, we could have avoided it, but I chose not to avoid it by way of my actions. It's got to be, like, pretty much at the end of this, the horizontal part of this floor. Ah, I love this. 600 gold. Very valuable. Literally added, like, slightly more than 1% of our net worth. Okay. This is usually, like, the door that is the exit. Yes it is. Still don't know what we do with that. This door is blocked. So there's, this is a much further trip, actually, but there is a scroll of power in there. We'll take that for skills. I think you can't go wrong right now. I think both skills and HP are going to take us on the direction that we need to go. Should expect a little bit more loot, albeit probably not that much. We are gonna, like, absolutely need to have more damage when it comes to the boss fight, so I don't think taking skills is a bad decision here. Like, we might, what I'm getting at, basically, is we might not need more damage against pods. I think that's abundantly, relatively clear right now, but the Watcher's not going to die in one hit. He might transfer from phase to phase in one spamming. You know what? Nah, see ya. I'll pay for it. Gold is relatively meaningless, and strength is, I mean, also relatively meaningless. But again, if we're not using our sword, we should replace it at this point, because we don't want the lifesteal probably anymore. Much less valuable against the tentacles, where we land like one hit before things get very scary. We'd rather not take double damage, or 50% more damage. admit, you know, that actually makes me even happier with the run so far, is the idea that we've done it with a penalty. Not a bad penalty necessarily, but we've done it with the added cost of taking more damage in the process. So it's not going to be nearly as good against non-burning targets. Or sorry, it's not going to be nearly as good against burning targets, but it does mean we're taking half the damage, or, you know, 2/3 the damage, so this is a very sensible choice to me. Plus, the guaranteed crit from Twin Daggers is really nice, and I think we can take advantage of that pretty easily. Hello? No more lifesteal, though. That's what I mean when I say we can take advantage of it very easily. Is that basically, if we freeze an enemy, we can definitely hit them. With the crit, that is. Okay, a little scary. I hate fighting enemies in water. But that wasn't that bad. Again, just a little scary. So we're at 747. Oh, what a great class of airplane, the jumbo jet. And yet, find myself a little hungry. Still not great on that front. Yeah, as you can see. Find myself a little hungry for more damage here, or more HP. If we got a health scroll, I certainly would not be mad. Basically, if we if we initiate with the freeze, there's actually nothing enemies can do. Every enemy will die to like a crit and then a right trigger, left trigger. There's no doubt. Honestly, that spike damage was not that bad. I actually don't understand the cursed sword. I almost feel like it's a trap that is like, if you don't read the name of the equipment, you're gonna be a salty person. What do you got for me? No scrolls. +1 strength, extra damage on a frozen target. Yeah! We will take that, because the strength is nice. The flashbang is not good enough despite the extra HP. Don't get me wrong, I was having a good time with the twin daggers, but the Nutcracker actually went from 500 to 715 damage because of the fact that we got extra strength while holding it. And we can almost use our Nutcracker for actual damage. We're gonna be surprisingly well balanced. And before you know, rail on me for, oh, you know, you've taken a balanced approach again, that's really not the case. You know, we got far more strength scrolls than anything else, I think. Oh, he got me. Plus, extra damage on a frozen target is nice. We gotta be approaching the exit, though. And we've used no... we've used no heals? Okay, well, that's a great sign. I do think that we got under-leveled on this run. I never chose to put levels into strength, but I guess in the end, this could be the rare balanced run that works out. But I'm not actually getting that cocky, to be honest with you. You might think that I'm, like, NL, slow your roll here. You haven't won anything yet. Act like you've been there before. Believe you me, I am. So I think the right call, because slowdown lasts 4 times. Yeah, slowdown lasts 4 times as long. It's a little bit of a more complicated approach than before, although not altogether extremely difficult. We're gonna freeze, hit with the Nutcracker once, and then spam right trigger, then left trigger. So it's gonna be like freeze, 175 damage bonus, and then our actual synergy. I think we should actually just avoid overthinking it. If we just spam, I think we're gonna be fine. We are gonna run out of ammo for the bow anyway, probably. So yeah, maybe don't even worry about focusing on that as much. I forgot. That's why like the frost blast is so nice. There's no associated damage property. Easiest money ever made. We do get the stun because he has over 75% of his HP, or at least did for like another moment there. It was very easy. That also seemed like flippin' sweet. I'm a little disappointed I got hit there. That's a little embarrassing. Come on, dude. Thank you. You know we got one more wave of badness here. Probably a good time to heal before he goes on that tentacle wave. Alright. This is a semi-tough spot now. That was so actually great. Still fine. Like, we're taking so little damage here. For some reason. Okay, you can't go toe-to-toe there, no matter what. I think one just burned to death. Come on, dude. I tried to take a swing at it. A little risky. Okay, heal up because, like, you're so set. That was bad. That was a little close there. He's actually done it. Dude, okay, I'm getting too precious with the combo here. Heal up. You're totally fine. You're just playing like an idiot. Getting too attached to the cuteness. He almost did it. We're so close. Easy money, dude. I think that's 4 in a row. We're actually unstoppable. Once you find that combo, you never let go. The Watcher cannot defeat you. It's like fighting, you know, Gertie at this point. Alright, so just level something up. Well, for now... Right, sorry. 9 cells. There you go. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. We continue to roll and expect to see Dead Cells for the near future, but I am sort of looking for something to fit the bill, give Dead Cells a little bit of a break to breathe and add more content. But again, for now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more in the future, and let me know how you felt about it. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.